Hello, I'm Scott Smothers and I'm 49 years old. I'm also a registered nurse. During my 20 years in the military, I had a wide variety of jobs. My favorite job was as an instructor for preventive medicine. After leaving the service, I became a research assistant. The research project I'm working on now is to find a treatment and possible cure for organic brain syndrome, commonly known as Alzheimer's disease. I live in San Antonio, Texas, and I've been married to my wife Shirley for nearly 27 years. We have 3 wonderful children, Amanda, Samantha, and Matthew. Matthew died a few years ago, and ironically it was that tragic event that led to my career as a superhero. It was a very cold January about 5 years ago when something happened that, coupled with later events, would change my life forever. My son Matthew had been very ill, and in the early morning hours his fever spiked to dangerous levels. I put my son in the truck and started driving him to the hospital for emergency treatment.
Don't worry, Matt, I'll get you there in time, dude.
I had to get Matthew to the hospital quickly or he would surely die. When I stopped briefly at a traffic light, my truck door swung open. I was pulled from my vehicle and struck violently over the head. I was being carjacked. I tried to pick up my son and take him to a place with a telephone so I could call an ambulance for help, but the blow to my head was more severe than I had realized, and I collapsed next to my little boy. We were found several hours later, but by that time it was too late. Matthew was already dead. I was so angry that I could not get him to the hospital in time to save his life. To escape the pain, I threw myself into my work. And then one night, it happened. I was working late one night at the lab with the head of the Alzheimer's Research Project, Dr. John Hewitt. The project called for us to mix different chemicals and biologicals together in hopes of regenerating dead or damaged brain tissue and tap into unused portions of the brain. Our experiments were interrupted by a severe thunderstorm. Suddenly, a lightning bolt pierced the window of the lab and struck Dr. Hewitt directly in the back. The sonic blast that accompanied the lightning bolt broke every piece of equipment, allowing the chemicals and biological substances to combine. The blast knocked me to the floor and left me unconscious. As I lay on the floor, the heat of the lightning caused the chemicals and biologics to become vaporized. Every breath I drew took the vapor deeper and deeper into my body. By the time I awoke, the thunderstorms had passed. I pulled myself upright, then noticed Dr. Hewitt lying on the floor about 20 feet away. The good doctor appeared to be dead. I went to check on him, and when I tried to roll him over, I got a terrible electric shock that threw me almost halfway across the room and knocked me unconscious for a second time. When I regained consciousness this time, I looked back towards the doctor. He was no longer there. All that was left was the burnt-in image of what was once my colleague. Little did I know that he would show up again later as my arch nemesis, Electron. As the hours passed, I noticed a dramatic increase in my senses. I could see even better than before. My hearing was so acute that I could hear the police officers whispering inside their squad car, even though the windows were rolled up and the doors were shut tight. I could smell the coffee that they were drinking. The most dramatic change occurred with my brain. Within a couple of days, I found that I was 5 times smarter than the average human. I was using parts of my brain that had been dormant since birth. Ideas poured from my mind faster than I could write them down. I was reading and remembering everything within seconds, but one memory kept coming back, stronger than ever before. The memory of the night my son died. I could have stopped those things if my brain was this smart back then. I could have prevented the whole thing. Prevented it. Prevented it. Prevented it. That's when I decided that crime and disaster would not make me or anyone else a victim ever again. I became Preventor, stopping crime one villain at a time. Well, welcome to my den. I have a lot of amazing superpowers, and I'd like to give you a few demonstrations of them. First, I'd like to do my brain power. What I have here is an ordinary Rubik's Cube, which I've mixed up, as you can see. All right? Now, pay attention closely. This won't take long. There. See? Look. Green, red, purple, blue, orange. All of them done just like that. Now, my amazing brain power has also allowed me to invent several of my gadgets here. The first gadget is my matter shifter, okay? And let me give you a demonstration of that. Let's go to the other room, shall we? The matter shifter is my favorite gadget and my weapon of choice. The matter shifter can change the 3 states of matter: liquids into solids, solids into gas, gas into liquids, any combination you can think of. It has a built-in laser targeting device and a matter analyzer. I'm currently working on the components needed to change matter into that 4th state, plasma. Let me give you a quick demonstration of just how the matter shifter works. First, I just take glass and I pour in some water. And then come around and I will target it with the laser to get an analysis of the matter. And now it's just as simple as touching a button and waiting. Okay, and that's all there is to it. And as you can see, liquid to solid, just like that. Imagine what I could do with a tidal wave threatening the coast. Let's go back to my den. I got some more stuff to show you. Okay, well, the next thing I wanted to show you was my mini matter shifter. It does the same thing that the large version does, except it's specifically tuned for my clothing and my costume. You're probably wondering, well, how can your clothing and costume fit in there? Well, it's easy. With the matter shifter, I can change my costume and clothing from gas back to solids again. The vial is electrically charged to attract my clothing and costume for easy storage. Okay, next we have my super stun ring. This ring emits an electromagnetic impulse similar to that of a nuclear blast. Since the transmission wavelength is different than that of a nuclear blast, I can control the intensity, duration, and direction of the strike. The primary use of the SSR is to incapacitate criminals. Let's go outside for a demonstration. I've asked my daughter Samantha to help me demonstrate the super stun ring. Go over there, sweetheart. Ready?
Ready.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so go.
All right, well, thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. Let me dust you off.
Dang, I didn't have that thing set to full power.
You're funny. Okay, let's go back in. I got some more gadgets to show you. Well, welcome back to the den. Another device I invented was the Global Distress Alert. Every local government has one of these panic buttons. These panic buttons allow the officials to record their emergencies, then translates it into English and sends them to the mainframe computer in my hidden den, where the messages are prioritized using a special algorithm of life, limb, and property. The messages are then forwarded to me automatically on the Global Distress Alert system. My worldwide communicator keeps me in touch with all the heads of state and my mentor, who provides me valuable information for situations around the world. Like the global distress alert, it can translate any language into English. I developed this pair of protective goggles, which has both thermal imaging and night vision capabilities. My costume itself is a protective device. The cloth is made out of surgical stainless steel threads, along with vulcanized rubber threads woven together in an intricate fashion that provides an impervious outer shell. My chest emblem gives added protection in the event of electrical blasts. The emblem actually reflects the energy back to the source. I've installed hundreds of tiny jets on the bottom of the shoes that allow me to fly and levitate, hover, and maneuver in the air. The jets on these super shoes can propel me at speeds in excess of Mach 4. Of course, no superpowers are without their weaknesses, and mine are no exception. My brain, for instance, is susceptible to the same stimulants, hallucinogens, depressants, and physical damage as any other brain, so I have to be careful and limit my contact with these items. My super senses can be overloaded as well. Very bright lights, very loud noises, and very strong odors can cause me an incapacitating headache. So far, I've found no adverse effects to my taste sensation. My exposed skin is very vulnerable to physical or chemical attack. As for my many gadgets, since matter is made up of complex molecules, the matter shifter takes about 25 seconds to analyze and change matter from one state to another. It does not work on living organisms and slows down during electrical storms or when near high voltage lines. Since I carry the mini matter shifter in my pocket, there's a slight chance that it could go off by accident, causing my clothes to turn into gas and leaving me naked in the street. My costume cannot be exposed to temperatures below absolute zero, or the fibers become brittle and start to unweave. My super stun ring has a limited range of only 300 feet. Very bright lights and very intense heat can burn out the thermal imaging capability and the night vision capabilities of my goggles. My worldwide communicator and my global distress alert are susceptible to ultra-high frequency radio waves and sunspots. The jets on my shoes can become clogged with mud or other debris. If too many jets get clogged at one time, I am unable to get airborne until I clean them. Also, there is a very simple concept. No shoes, no fly. Well, that's the story of Preventor. As I told you earlier, my favorite job was being an instructor. And now as Preventor, I can teach those criminals a lesson they'll never forget. Yes, Chief.
Don't worry, Mr. Lee. I'll take care of it. I'm on my way.
Well, I gotta go. This is Preventor signing off. Class dismissed. Excelsior!
He stops crime one villain at a time. He is the man called Preventor. Preventor.
Excelsior!